birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Every single day, my nighttime routine starts as soon as I leave work and pick up my kids from school. We make our way home for all of the fun stuff to begin. We take off our shoes, hang up our coats, and wash our hands with some soap and water. While I get myself situated, I do put on an educational show for the kids. This time they're going to be learning about the alphabet, which is the Hebrew alphabet. Sometimes we put on ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and shapes and colors, and they usually watch us for a few minutes and then they get busy with something else.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sonya's Prep. In this week's video, I'm going to take you along on our nighttime routine. Being a family of 7, it is definitely crazy, chaotic, very fast-paced, and I did this last year and a lot of you enjoyed it, so I figured let's do an updated version because a few things have definitely changed. My husband usually gets home at around 6:30 to 7, so most of this nighttime routine is done by me, but then he comes and saves the day and helps me out, so you'll get to see a little bit of that as well. Yeah? We're doing some nighttime routine? Yeah. So I hope you guys all enjoy this video. If you do, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Now let's get into our nighttime routine.
Now that my little ones are situated for a few minutes, I have a chance to sit down with my older kids and get them all set up to do their homework. I don't literally sit down and do it with them usually unless they have trouble. So I just look over their homework sheets, get them set up, and then I make my way into the kitchen to start on dinner prep. On this particular night, I wanted to make some basmati rice. I had some brisket left over from Shabbat, and I thought it would pair really nicely with some basmati rice. So I'm here washing 1 cup of basmati rice, and I'm going to be adding to that 1.5 cups of water, a tablespoon of oil, and some salt. I mix all of that and place it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes until it's fully cooked through. At this point, I go back and forth between the older kids with their homework and back into the kitchen to finish up dinner. So I'm here doing some math with my older boy, and while he's doing his math, I'm doing a little bit of letters with my younger son who's 5 years old, who's learning his Hebrew alphabet. So it's a lot of craziness here. I cannot figure out this Common Core math that they're doing in 4th grade that my daughter had to help him out with. I just don't understand how they're teaching math right now. So I'm taking out the brisket now from the refrigerator, heating it up in the microwave so that I can get all the components ready for dinner. To keep my 5-year-old entertained, I gave him the task of setting up the dinner table. I'm really lucky that my kids love to have vegetables, so I try my best to always incorporate some sort of vegetables into their dinners.
So normally I would wait for my husband to have dinner, but I didn't have any lunch today, so I'm going to be helping myself. Guys, how's dinner?
Good.
You enjoying it?
It's amazing.
It's amazing?
Absolutely
Thank
delicious. Even like yesterday.
Mmm, yummy. This is why I love cooking so much on the weekends, because I do have leftovers and it makes it so much more easier to give my kids some dinner that I just take out of the fridge and maybe make some rice or pasta or mashed potatoes. It's very quick and it's great. The time now is 5:54, so we usually start our dinners at around 5:30, and they're almost done with everything. They're finishing up, and once they're done, I do some reading with them or some playing. We all get changed into our pajamas by 6 o'clock. We have a little bit of fun, and then we head on off to bed, and I'll show you just what all that looks like.
So as I said, at around 6 o'clock, give or take, we start getting changed from our clothes and getting into pajamas. My older ones are obviously getting changed on their own, and I'm just helping the little ones along. I also take the time when I'm already in their bedroom to encourage my 5-year-old and 9-year-old to get their clothes ready for the next day. For my 3-year-old son, I do it for him, even though he occasionally does it himself as well, but I just find it easier. And I place everything on their dresser so that it's very easy in the morning for them to know what they need to put on, and it just saves a lot of heartache and a lot of time, that it just goes much more smoothly that way. After the kids are done with dinner and while they're busy putting stuff away, I clean up the kitchen as well, get it all together, throw out anything that's dirty, put away all of the leftovers that we have so that I have a little bit more freedom later on in the night. For the past month now, I've implemented something in my house where my older ones who are 9 years old have chores where, I mean, they always had chores, but now I'm giving them chores with allowances. So one week my son will do the dishes and my daughter will fold laundry, and then they switch off on the following week. I wanted to know from all of you, do you guys do that with your kids? Do you give them an allowance? Do you give them chores and then give them a reward for it? What is your method? Now that my kids are getting older, I feel like I have to implement new and different things into how I'm raising them and teaching them good life skills. So leave me your comments down below. I'd love to know how you guys are doing that. So while I was in the kitchen cleaning up, my kids had to clean up their playroom. They had to put away their toys, any clothes that were in there. So that's what they're doing while I'm in the kitchen. And right around 6:30, my husband walked through the door, and at this point I feel like all the women agree with me. We are ready to just give over all of the kids to the men and say see you later. But that doesn't really happen, guys, right? So they're very excited to see Abba. They're very excited to see their dad, and he usually either spends the time reading them a story or working with my oldest son with his studies in Jewish learning. While that's going on, I encourage my younger kids to prepare all of their snacks for the next day. I used to do all of this on my own, but now that they're getting bigger, they're able to do this for themselves, and that is one less thing for mama to do. So I am very happy about that. At 7 o'clock, my three youngest ones wind down. They finish their night by reading a story or playing quietly. Today, my husband's going to be reading them a story. I'm going to be going into the room and preparing the clothes for my 5-year-old because it's hard for her to reach her clothes. So I just prepare that for her. But honestly, she doesn't even wear what I choose for her anymore. She'll go into all her dresses and say, "Mom, I want to wear my dresses." She's going through that phase right now. So while they're reading, I'm getting that together. By 7 or 7:15 the latest, we try to have everything done. We send the kids on over into the bathroom to brush their teeth. The little ones finished their night by saying a bedtime prayer, which is called Shema. I say the prayers with them, give them goodnight kisses, and leave them off to go to sleep. Now that the little ones are in bed, it's time for me to make dinner for my hubby and I. I happened to get this air fryer in the mail today and I really wanted to use it. My husband got some Cornish hens and I thought they would go really well in the air fryer. My very first air fryer, I've only received it a few months ago and it really has been such a life-changing thing. It just goes so much faster and so much quicker, and I'll definitely have this air fryer linked in the description box below for you to check them out if you guys are interested. This is the Joe Young Lenses Series air fryer, and it has these cool 10 preset features. And the best part of it is that it has the Lenses series has where you could just click a light button and you could see what's happening inside of the air fryer. No need to disturb the cooking process by opening it up and seeing if it's cooked to the way that you like. So I really enjoyed this. So for dinner tonight, I'm going to be making these Cornish hens with some potatoes that I'm going to be smothering with some dill and garlic. It is absolutely delicious, and all of the leftovers we'll be taking for lunches for the next day. So I take these hens, wash it, dry them really well with a paper towel. I cut the backbone and flatten the chicken as best as I can, and then I season it with any seasoning that I had. I put this time some paprika, some black pepper, some salt, and some garlic powder also I see over there that I put. I also used this chicken seasoning that I have from Costco. I lathered that all up with a little bit of avocado oil. You definitely don't need to use any oil in the air fryer. It makes it all nice and crispy either way, but I just wanted extra crispy, so I add in a little bit of avocado oil on both sides. I season the other side of the chickens the exact same way. Over here I have some Idaho potatoes that I've sliced thinly. I place it into the basket. This basket has 360-degree airflow technology for maximum crispiness, which is amazing. It gets it all nice and crispy. If I would have baked this in the oven, the potatoes would not have come out crispy, as you're gonna go and see a little bit later on. So I really like doing this in the air fryer. I placed both of the Cornish hens with the potatoes underneath it. I turned everything on, and it's very easy to just preset it at the chicken setting, or you can increase the temperature to 400 degrees like I did here. Press start, and then you could even set a timer for when you want the air fryer to turn off. So initially I placed it for 20 minutes, and then I turn on the light because that's the best part of this air fryer. You can see exactly what's going on in the air fryer. No need to open anything up. At this point, the time now is around 7:30, and now that the dinner is basically getting cooked and I don't have to worry about that, I'm going to be spending a little bit of time with each of my older kids, doing a little bit of reading, or if they have a test the next day, I'll be practicing with their tests. So each of them are reading now. Miriam is writing in her journal, Yoshua is reading me a story, and then they're going to switch over. After reading, my older kids do go to sleep at 8 o'clock, so they definitely do feel very special that they get to go to sleep 1 hour after my younger ones. At about the 15-minute mark, I went to check in on the chicken, and I saw that it is getting nice and crispy on one side. So I took that time to flip the chicken over so it can get nice and crispy on the other side. While the chicken is getting finished up cooking, I really wanted to do this blooming onion for you guys that you all requested from my previous air fryer video. If you haven't checked it out, I'll have it linked up above for you. I made it and all of you really wanted the recipe, so this is how I did it. I take an onion and I leave the hairy part up. The bottom portion of it I did cut, and then I make 4 indentations into it with a knife. Each quarter of it I then slice into 2, as you see here. And this way, the purpose of keeping the hairy part of the onion up is that so you don't slice through it. So that is the actual part that holds the entire onion together. Now I open up the entire onion so that it blooms. And then I will be dipping it into some cornstarch mixed with flour. You can just do flour, you can just do cornstarch. I just had something already left over in the freezer from a previous recipe. I have an egg over there that I'm going to be seasoning with some salt and paprika, giving it a good mix, and I'll be just placing the blooming onion into the cornstarch and then into the egg and then into the breadcrumbs. I'm going to be checking in on the chicken. The bottom side of the chicken is perfect. I'm going to be flipping it over, and if I feel like it needs another minute or two in the air fryer, I'll put it back in. But separately, I have some chopped dill here and some chopped garlic, because guys, if you've never tried this kind of chicken and potatoes with dill and garlic, you have to try. There's just something about this aroma is incredible. You are going to love it. Definitely try it. So I take the chicken out, I sprinkle on some garlic all throughout the potatoes and then all throughout the chicken, and I serve that for dinner for my husband and I. And now that the dinner is out of the air fryer, I'm going to be placing in the blooming onion so that it can get cooking while we're eating our dinner. To help the onion crispen up, I spray it with some Pam spray. I then close the air fryer and set it to 400 degrees for 20 minutes. And of course, I'm going to be turning on the lights so I can see exactly what's going on in the air fryer. Finally, time for the taste test. My gosh, you guys, if you could only smell. It smells amazing. Sometimes nice to like treat yourself in the middle of the week when you like normally wouldn't. And having this air fryer is definitely very easy to do that with. Because I don't want to turn on the whole entire oven to make a whole meal. This is perfect just for the two of us. So delicious. Now the potatoes. I love it. I love the garlic and the dill. The crispiness of the chicken. You guys have got to try it. Because I've gotten so many requests for more air fryer recipes, I wanted to include another one here for you that I did on a separate night. This is the brisket that I had left over that I sauteed with some onions. I took out some puff pastry dough, added the biscuit in the middle, and my daughter and I folded it in half. And this was just super simple to make, super quick, and using the air fryer definitely made us have our dinner in no time at all. This is very convenient for me being a working mama. So I just got home, took out the brisket, defrosted the dough, and dinner was ready in absolutely no time at all. So after Miriam and I folded up the puff pastry dough with the briskets, I then egg washed it and placed it into the air fryer. I baked it in the air fryer set at 375 degrees for about 7 to 10 minutes, and I love this window feature where I can totally just look inside and see how all the cooking is going. I don't have to disturb the cooking process, and it just comes out so beautifully puffy and crispy. I have one of you guys to thank for this recipe. You know who you are. You left me an amazing message to make this, and I'm so happy and thankful that I did. So thank you again for this recipe. Now that dinner is over, I'm doing a very quick tidy up. This definitely goes by very quickly because my kids and I have cleaned up and tidied up certain spaces in the house already. I'm just putting away the things that we used for dinner, like this table. I'll be wiping it down with the wet cloth and just doing little bits of tidy ups that I haven't had a chance to do. The blooming onion is ready. I'll be taking it out and waiting for my husband to get home from learning. He usually learns every single night on the weekdays. So I'll be taking that out so that I could wash the air fryer. I believe this is actually even dishwasher safe, but I put it into the sink just to give it a rinse, and it was so easy to clean it. I didn't even bother putting it in the dishwasher. Everything just slides right off. I cleaned it, dried it, and put it all away.
Let's dive in. Nice and crispy, right? From an air fryer. This is awesome.
Wow. You need like a sauce.
A dipping sauce, yeah, that'll be good. Wow, this is really yummy.
Okay, don't tell my health coach. I'm not gonna eat this. Amazing. You gotta get an air fryer. This is really healthy.
I think so. Okay, we're gonna go and attack this and enjoy the rest of our evening. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this nighttime routine with a family of 7. Hope you guys all liked it, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good night from our family to yours.
And right before I head on off to bed, I prepare my things that I'm going to need for work. So I have my water there. I prepare my coffee mug and place my lunch into the refrigerator so that all I have to do when I wake up is grab and go and get out the door. I also prepare my clothes so that I could have a very quick morning.